Woman's Ministry by Gordon McKeeman. Ministry is a quality of relationship between and among human beings that beckons forth hidden possibilities, inviting people into deeper, more constant, more reverent relationship with the world and with one another, carrying forward a long heritage of hope and liberation that has dignified and informed the human venture over many centuries, being present with, to, and for others in their terrors and torments, in their grief, misery, and pain, knowing that those feelings are our feelings too. Celebrating the triumphs of the human spirit, the miracles of birth and life, the wonders of devotion and sacrifice, witnessing to life-enhancing values, speaking truth to power, speaking for human dignity and equity, for compassion and aspiration, believing in life in the presence of death, struggling for human responsibilities against principalities and structures that ignore humanness and become instruments of death. It is all these and much, much more that are present in the wordless, the unspoken, the ineffable. It is speaking and living the highest we know, and living with the knowledge that it is never as deep or as wide or as high as we wish. Whenever there is a meeting that summons us to our better selves, wherever our lostness is found, our fragments are united, our wounds begin healing, our spines stiffen, and our muscles grow strong for the task. There is ministry.
So I saw Disclosure Day this weekend, the new Spielberg summer blockbuster. And I'm not going to do a spoiler because what I'm going to share, Megan's going to get home. What I'm going to share is really something that you find out really early on in the film, so it's not a big surprise reveal. But Emily Blunt plays this character named Margaret Fairchild, and she's a news anchor in Kansas City, who is touched by an alien, let's say, like touched by an angel, but touched by an alien. And she gains the ability to hear people's thoughts when she's in proximity to them. So, like, she is standing before somebody and she hears their thoughts, so she responds very compassionately to them by saying something that's very understanding, like, hey, you've had a hard day, haven't you? And Lisa has been really angry at you. Why don't you get her a bouquet of flowers and take her to the tides? She really likes that. And the person that she encounters and says this to, kind of a psychic connection, softens immediately and their eyes go all misty and they forget to be formal or professional or to do their job. And it's a great way to get out of a speeding ticket. So I was watching this and I was thinking, but honestly, like most of us have the ability to do that without alien intervention and space mind melding. Because all you have to do is be really present to people and have compassion and empathy. And while you can't guess the exact details, like your wife's name is Lisa and she likes to go to this particular restaurant, we can stop and say at any given time, I see you. I recognize your humanity. You're playing on the television, and oh my God, what's happening? That's the world we live in. So I thought, I have to tell the church this, because I know some of you will go see this. I go, it's Spielberg, it's John Williams, you gotta go. It's the big summer. Everybody's going to be talking about it, but we can talk about it too. But that's just being present to people, remembering that everybody has pain and hurt in their lives, or complexity, that they have children they're concerned about, or they're caring for parents, or they have health issues, or they have financial issues, or they're worried about the state of the world. They're really worried about the violence in our environment, and globally, they're worried about animal rights. They're carrying stuff, and our ministry is to be present to that and to create community that allows us to go deep and to recognize that that is really what shapes our lives. In our ministry together, in our spiritual practices of worship and song and meditation and learning and service and social justice work, we are constantly trying to transform ourselves and orient ourselves to that kind of presence, to that kind of attitude in the world. And that isn't alien, it's human at its best. So I wanted to say, hey, Steven Spielberg, we can do this as humans, but thanks for the fun movie, and I had a great time and ate popcorn. In a few minutes, we will convene to the parish hall to do the work of the church in electing new officers, thanking those who've given many hours, blood, sweat, and tears to the stewardship of this fine historic institution. And in the words we use here, for some reason, I don't know who came up with this expression, who are rolling off. I don't know where that came from, but I always have this image of people kind of rolling off the mini service. The work, though, that undergirds all of that work is the relational part. It is the part that is about presence, compassion, and empathy. It's about becoming. So it's bringing to the business of whatever we're doing, whether it's decor or financial stuff or religious education or whatever it is, that we understand that the relational part is the most important part. The part that we really need to focus on, and that is the most exciting and actually the most challenging part, is the care for feelings, attention to the spirit of the meeting and not just its business, and understanding that the way we do things is every bit as important as the outcome. As we welcome new members of this congregation, I ask all of you, please, in coming hours and days, renew your own commitment to this very human gift that you have, this gift of compassion, empathy, prioritizing relationships over outcomes. To covenant together is a human gift, perhaps endowed upon us by the common spark of the divine, which we all possess. And if aliens ever do that here, hopefully they will find that we don't need their spacey intervention to see each other through the eyes of love, that at least some of us will have already achieved this. So I'd like to invite our President Dave Ennis, Reverend Kristen Silva, and Steve Silva up here for our welcome of new members. And Rupert Deese and Allison Deese have also joined the church, but they could not be here this morning. They're here with us in spirit.
Here in this church and in the Lynn and Swampscott congregations that merged to become the Unitarian Universalist Church of Greater Lynn, human beings have gathered for centuries, seeking a higher purpose and deeper life than they could find alone. We are grateful today for each one of you that you have found your way here and that you have decided to make a commitment to this faith community.
Kristen and Steve, you share a desire to deepen your commitment to UUCGL by officially joining our church. This commitment demonstrates that you wish to be formally associated with exercise about 10 or 15 minutes. It means that you may someday be asked to serve on the governing board and thereby to be a chief decision maker and steward on behalf of our congregation.
To become a member of a church means to embrace its ministry as your own. We hope that as members of this church, you will allow yourselves to know and be known, that you will both minister to and be ministered unto, that you will love and be loved. We hope this also for your children, whom we also welcome into this community of faith. The relationships we form in our church are based on needs of the soul, needs that render each of us vulnerable and therefore reliant on each other's grace and goodness and generosity of spirit. As members of this church, we pledge to be guardians of each other's spirits, to respect the ultimate privacy of each one's human struggle, and to believe in each one's inherent dignity. We're guided always by the words of our covenant, the unison affirmation that reminds us that love is our doctrine, our only doctrine, and that we believe we're growing into harmony with the divine.
I welcome you on behalf of the Board of Trustees, the ministers, the staff, and the congregation, all of which have played a part in your path to membership. I invite the members of the congregation to share the words of welcome found in your order of service. We,
the members of the Universalist Church of Greater Lynn, welcome you in the spirit of our covenant to love, to worship together in cultivated reverence, to take seriously our individual, collective efforts towards spiritual growth, ethical commitment, and to serve human